It's not every day that someone needs to get their face revamped, but Sigrika is here to provide that public service. Sigrika, the next Aero main damage dealer, and we need to equip our resident brawler with a nice weapon. So which weapon works best for her? In this video, we'll be dissecting every viable gauntlet option and seeing just how they fall behind her signature weapon. My name's VoidEnigma, and I'll be your gauntlet mentor for the duration of this short video. Now let's introduce the most powerful gauntlets for our new resident strongwoman. Wait, what do you mean she only weighs 70 pounds? Who approved this level of violence? For Sigrika's small fist, Solsworn Ciphers is a phenomenal signature weapon, granting 12% attack and a massive 32% echo damage amp and 10% defense ignore each time that an Echo Skill damage is used. Compared to each of the other gauntlets in the game, this thing is ahead by a ridiculous margin, and something sounds familiar about that passive. Oh, that's why. In case you don't pick up what I'm putting down, this weapon is significantly better than the other options, and this weapon has a very similar passive to Furlova's signature, and Furlova's signature is miles ahead of even Stringmaster, which is the best all-around weapon for any rectifier user. An identical passive means that this weapon will be absolutely phenomenal. The thing about gauntlets, well, they don't have a Stringmaster, so this is just going to be miles ahead of the current gauntlets that we have. I suspect that it's about 20 to 30% better than every other weapon that's available, meaning that this weapon is almost required for Sigrika. After all, she's the main damage dealer, so it's best to get it for her. But sometimes Astrites don't come easy, or calculator comes out of the gotcha machine instead of Sigrika. So what happens if you want to opt out of the absolute best weapon for Sigrika? She's got to have other options, right? Oddly enough, Sigrika doesn't have any good gauntlet options. Since most of her damage is considered Echo Skill damage, none of the gauntlets really suit her. The gap between Sigrika's signature weapon and other gauntlets in the game is going to be so large that it feels unfair. The only useful stats from the other gauntlets is going to be crit rate, crit damage, and attack percent, as well as the luxurious defense ignore. And with that in mind, the second best option is none other than Zani's signature weapon, Blazing Justice. Blazing Justice is just a phenomenal weapon for a character that actually uses basic attacks. Each time a basic attack lands, you get a nice 8% defense ignore, so at least sometimes you'll be able to use the passive. The thing for Sigrika though is that she always uses basic attacks, so the passive will pretty much always be up. Unfortunately, everything else about the passive is generally useless. However, it does sport a very good attack value at 587 and a modest crit damage at 48%. So overall, it's going to be a very good weapon. For those Zani users, you're in luck with something that works as a secondary option. Other than that, any general 5-star signature weapon will work just fine as long as it has crit rate or crit damage and has some attack percent in the passives. It should come with a little bit of attack percent or attribute damage, right? Aim for the weapons that do have more base attack, like the 587 that we have on Zani's weapon. We don't really want the weaker gauntlets with 500. Those really won't do too well. And if for some reason you don't have any other 5-star gauntlet, then you can always go with the standard gauntlet Abyss Surges, which gives you a very respectable 12% energy regen, helping with their energy requirements, and a nice attack bonus. No crit anywhere on Abyss Surges, so it is going to fall behind all of the other options, but it's at least better than the 4-star options, being the 4th best weapon that she can use. So the real question, can you cope with the inferior options, or do you really just want to grind for a signature? Even with goated supports like Furlova and Shui Yuan, the lack of a signature weapon may be too much for this character to overcome. Since she's a main damage dealer, her damage is going to be the whole point, right? If you're going for Sigrika, I highly suggest that you get her signature weapon because the gap between a signature and non-signature is just staggering. For those who still want to cope, you really need some strong supports to supplement the damage loss or not having the signature. Good thing we'll talk about Sigrika's teams in a next video. Well, the next video after the pre-analysis guide. Go ahead and like and subscribe for more enigmatic content. This has been Void. Thanks so much for watching. Enigma out.